focused on that, Andres. And then with this, we're closing a trilogy here. We need to have the medicine and we need to institutionalize the clinical pathway. Without the gauge and without the medicines, we can't do it. So, Andres, please go ahead. There are two things here. I've just put in the chat the article. You can download it. It's a PDF, and also the link to Pride VP, which is the most complete area where you can find all this Stride VP. So the country needs to establish a clinical pathway, approve it and institutionalize it. HARTS cannot be implemented without a clinical pathway, nor can you prepare a banquet if you don't have the recipe. You can have the ingredients and the best intentions, but if you don't know how to prepare it, the result won't be what's anticipated. So the clinical pathway reflects the best recommendations of the leading international guidelines, including those of WHO, and all this framework of action based on improving quality continuously is summarized on a single page. Most countries have a clinical pathway, therefore this is a tool that is very familiar to you all. However, the institutionalization implies taking it one step further. Each country will have its mechanism. Chile, for instance, was one of the first countries to move forward in an institutionalization mechanism through a ministerial resolution. Others have it in their policies or in their clinical guidelines. So this can vary from country to country. What is important is for the Ministry of Health, in the exercise of its authority, must provide to health centers the recommendations that are contained in the clinical pathway, and they need to guarantee resources for implementation. So the quality standard will be that more than 80% of PHCs implementing HARTS have the recommended medications according to the clinical pathway, type and dosage, including antihypertensive statins and aspirin. We're going to make some changes here compared to the earlier versions. Not only are we going to ask about the development and institutionalize the clinical pathway, we're going to measure the quality using the appraisal checklist. But in addition, we're going to take a look at what's happening with the medicines. It is absolutely desirable that if the Ministry of Health wants to remain in charge of the HARTS plan, they need to have data as to the availability of medications recommended by the clinical pathway, and these need to be available at the health centers. This is something we pointed out a moment ago. It's useless to have a clinical pathway if I don't have medication to support